So how do you know how good your code is? Maybe you've tried using metrics like lines of code or cyclomatic complexity, but you are still left wondering, does this actually measure how good my code is? Reviewing your code can feel like a mystery sometimes. You want to ensure everything is clean, efficient, and maintainable. But how sure can you be? You could easily focus on formatting the outer form of your code and so on. But what about the inner form, the logic, the naming convention, and all those internal parts of your code? That's where things start getting tricky. Now imagine you have two code bases, one with 10,000 lines of code and the other with only 1,000 lines of code. The larger one might seem more complex, but what if it's actually much more easier to maintain and to understand? I mean, which one is better? How do you judge that? The lines of code doesn't have much to say here. In today's video, we are going to break down what code metrics really tell you about the quality of your code, why most of them are misleading, and what you should really be focusing on to ensure high quality code. I've spent years in software development, especially in the enterprise space, where ensuring clean and maintainable code is crucial. I've seen how misleading metrics can derail teams and projects. Here's what's coming up. First, we'll talk about common metrics like lines of code and cyclomatic complexity. Then we'll dive into why these often fail to truly measure the quality of your code. Finally, I'll give you actionable advice on what to do and what you should focus on instead when reviewing your code. So stick around until the end for a bonus tip that will take your code reviews to the next level. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samuel Nete, and on this channel, we talk about coding tips and tricks, software architecture, and helping you take your software development career to the next level. So here's the real issue. All these metrics focus on surface level indicators and completely ignore what I call the inner form of code. The structure, naming convention, the logic behind it, and so on. These are things that really impact how maintainable and understandable your code is. Unfortunately, no metric can fully capture that. When you write code, especially in larger projects, you are not just thinking about getting the job done today. You are thinking about the long term. How will others read and maintain the code months or even years from now? And that's where things like good naming conventions, logical structure, and clean architecture come into play. For example, imagine walking into a library. If all the books are scattered randomly on the shelf, even though every book might be well written, you would have a hard time finding what you need. That's how it feels when code is disorganized. Metrics can tell you how many books are there on the shelves, but they can't really tell you whether the books are categorized in a way that makes sense. And that's exactly why we need to focus on the inner form. Code reviews and refactoring are essential tools in improving code quality over time. They help you focus on things that metrics can't measure. Is the logic clear? Are the variable names meaningful? Is the approach scalable and efficient? These are subjective, but crucial elements in good software design. Now, does this mean metrics are useless? Not necessarily. Metrics can serve as a warning signal. If a function has a high cyclomatic complexity or massive number of lines of code, that's a red flag. But, and it's important, they should never be used in isolation. They are just one piece of the puzzle. And speaking of red flags, some developers and team leaders make the mistake of using metrics to measure productivity. This is a big trap. Metrics like lines of code or even velocity metrics can give an illusion of productivity without actually accessing the value delivered. Writing more code doesn't really mean writing better code. Here's the bonus tip. When conducting code reviews, focus more on the intent behind the code rather than just the result. Ask yourself, is the developer solving the right problem in a way that makes the code easier to understand and maintain in the future? Are there any patterns in the code that could be simplified? Think of it as teaching. The best code is the one that teaches the next developer how it works without needing any explanation. If your code can do that, you are already ahead of the game. I'll actually be interested to know how you approach your code reviews. Do you rely on metrics, or do you have your own ways to evaluate the code quality with your team? Drop your thoughts in the comment section and let's keep the conversation going. Do well to check out a video I did on coupling and cohesion on how it can make or break your code's maintainability. And of course, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and stay updated on all things software development. And while you are here, don't forget to give this video a like. It really helps the channel to grow. Stay healthy and happy coding. Ciao.